Picture waking up every single day with a crystal clear sense of purpose, unshaken by setbacks, unbothered by the chaos around you, and relentlessly focused on what truly matters. It sounds almost superhuman, doesn't it yet? This was the everyday reality for one of the most powerful men in ancient history, Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. His personal writings, a collection that has survived thousands of years, aren't just musings from a bygone era. They're startlingly relevant guidance on how to harness self-discipline amid the noise of everyday life today. We're going deep into the heart of Stoicism, exploring its principles not as abstract theory, but as practical tools for living a more disciplined, fulfilling life. Stoicism shows us how to turn hardship into advantage, emotional turmoil into calm, and life's unpredictability into a source of strength, whether you're dealing with daily stress, seeking inner peace, or hoping to boost your productivity. Understanding the Stoic way of life offers real insight in a world overflowing with distractions and instant gratification. Stoic philosophy grounds us in the virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. It's about more than simply enduring life. It's about thriving in it, no matter what comes your way. So if you're ready to change how you view and handle life's challenges, stay with us as we unpack the powerful, life-changing teachings of Marcus Aurelius and how they can be applied to build a strong, disciplined life today. As we start this journey through Stoic philosophy and the deep teachings of Marcus Aurelius, if you're enjoying what we're doing here, one small free favor to ask is hitting the subscribe button. Also, don't skip any part of this video, because if you're here, you're different from most people, so consider yourself the exception and stay tuned for the unique insights we'll explore together. At the core of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy is the belief that self-discipline begins with finding your purpose. But what does finding your purpose actually mean? It's about discovering what truly matters to you, what drives you at your core, and aligning your daily actions with that deeper calling. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about living in agreement with nature, which in Stoic terms means understanding your role in the bigger picture and acting in harmony with your virtues. For Aurelius, purpose wasn't just a lofty ideal, but a practical compass guiding every decision from the mundane to the monumental. He believed that understanding your purpose is what gets you out of bed ready to face the day's challenges. It's what keeps you steady when temptation pulls you off course, and it isn't about grand achievements or outside recognition, but about fulfilling the duties life has placed before you and doing each task with commitment and integrity. In today's world, finding your purpose can often feel overwhelming. We live surrounded by choices and distractions that can pull us away from our true path. This is exactly where Stoic wisdom becomes not just helpful, but essential. Stoicism teaches us to peel back the layers of surface-level desires and passing emotions to reveal what's truly essential for our well-being and growth. It pushes us to ask ourselves, what's genuinely worth my time and energy? How can what I do today add to the greater good and to my own development? As we look at how to apply this in our lives, think about what naturally draws you in, where you find deep satisfaction, or what challenges you feel driven to solve. These are clues pointing toward your purpose. And once you've identified it, the Stoic practice of daily reflection becomes invaluable. By continually aligning your actions with your purpose, saying no to what doesn't serve you and yes to what does, you build the self-discipline needed to live a meaningful, impactful life. Let's take this insight from Marcus Aurelius and apply it daily. Ask yourself, each morning, what am I meant to do today? And each evening, did I live true to my purpose? Over time, this simple practice will not only build self-discipline, but reshape your life into a more purposeful and fulfilling journey. When Marcus Aurelius wrote about self-discipline, a recurring theme in his reflections was the value of relying on yourself. This isn't just about self-reliance, it's a core part of Stoic philosophy, which stresses personal accountability and independence. This isn't about isolating yourself or rejecting help from others. Rather, it's about recognizing that ultimate responsibility for our actions, our reactions, and our growth rests with us. In Stoicism, focusing on what's within our control is essential. Aurelius often discussed the power we hold when facing whatever challenges life throws at us. By leaning on ourselves, we tap into our inner resilience and strength. This principle teaches us to trust our own abilities to navigate uncertainty and hardship. It's about building confidence, not through arrogance, but through competence and a genuine understanding of our own capabilities and virtues. This kind of self-reliance is freeing. But it can also feel intimidating in today's connected world, where opinions and advice are always just a tap away. Learning to listen to our own inner voice can be genuinely difficult. However, Stoicism teaches us to filter out the noise and trust our own reasoned judgment. Aurelius believed this internal guidance was the most trustworthy counsel available because it's rooted in reason and virtue. By relying on ourselves, we also develop autonomy in decision-making, letting us make choices aligned with our values and principles rather than being pulled around by outside pressure or passing emotion. This autonomy is essential for keeping our personal integrity intact and for living a life that's genuinely our own. So how do we start truly relying on ourselves? It begins with small steps, making commitments and keeping them, setting personal goals and pursuing them independently, and taking time to reflect on our decisions and whether they align with our core values over time. These habits strengthen self-discipline, making us more resilient and grounded when facing life's challenges. Marcus Aurelius consistently stressed the power of persistence, of showing up not just physically, but in spirit every single day. This isn't about occasional bursts of massive effort, but about the quiet, steady dedication to daily tasks that together build a disciplined life. For Aurelius, showing up every day matched the Stoic idea of living in accordance with nature. To him, nature asked of us not just to exist, but to actively take part in life, to contribute through our actions. No matter how small or routine they seemed, each day was a new arena, not for grand battles, but for proving our commitment to our principles and duties. It's in the consistency, the daily effort, where character is built and tested in today's world, full of distractions and where motivation can vanish quickly. The idea of showing up every day matters even more. It's easy to feel inspired one day and completely off track. The next tier, Stoicism, teaches us the value of consistency. It isn't intensity, but the regularity of our actions that builds real discipline. This doesn't mean every day has to be a masterpiece of productivity. Rather, it's about not letting a day slip by unnoticed or wasted. Whether it's advancing your career, improving your health, or deepening your relationships, progress in any area requires the simple, often overlooked commitment to show up every day. Showing up daily is also deeply connected to the Stoic practice of mindfulness, staying present in the now and doing today's work today, without carrying yesterday's failures or tomorrow's worries. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about focusing on the present, about doing the task in front of you as well as you can. This focus is what turns routine into ritual and effort into growth. To build this discipline, start small. Decide what showing up means for you. It could be as simple as writing one paragraph of that book you've meant to write, doing a 5-minute workout, or spending 10 uninterrupted minutes with someone you love. The scale isn't what transforms us. It's the act of showing up itself. Every day you meet your commitment. You reinforce your willpower and build the resilience that defines Stoic philosophy. By adopting this daily practice, you embody the Stoic belief in personal responsibility and continuous self-improvement. You become living proof that while we may not control outcomes, we can control our effort. In the consistent act of showing up, we find the discipline needed to lead a purposeful, fulfilling life. This Stoic practice, strongly championed by Marcus Aurelius, is about far more than making life deliberately harder. It's about preparing yourself for life's unpredictability, strengthening your resilience, and deepening your appreciation for what you already have. Marcus Aurelius, like many Stoics, believed that voluntarily experiencing discomfort helps fortify the mind against times when life forces discomfort on us. This might mean choosing to skip certain luxuries, enduring physical challenges, or simply practicing small, everyday acts of self-denial. The logic is simple. If you're used to hardship, sudden difficulty won't knock you off balance. You're training your resilience, so to speak, ensuring you can face life's challenges with a calm, composed mind. But why embrace discomfort in a world that constantly offers us comfort? The answer lies at the very core of Stoic philosophy. Growth often happens at the edges of our comfort zones. By voluntarily stepping into less comfortable situations, we test our mental and emotional limits and expand them. This practice isn't about punishing yourself, it's about shifting your view of comfort from a necessity to a luxury you can live without. If you choose to, practicing voluntary hardship also builds gratitude. It's easy to take everyday comforts for granted, but when you occasionally go without them, you appreciate them far more deeply. This could be as simple as skipping a meal, which can heighten your appreciation for the food you normally have, or choosing to walk instead of drive, which might deepen your gratitude for your mobility and health. Beyond that, voluntary hardship connects us to the reality many people live with involuntarily every day. This connection can build empathy, humility, and a deeper understanding of the human condition, grounding us more firmly in the shared reality we live in with others. So how can we bring this practice into our lives? Start small. Choose something manageable. Maybe wake up an hour earlier than usual, limit your technology use for a day, or take the stairs instead of the elevator. The point isn't the scale of the hardship, but the regularity and intention behind it. Each act of voluntary discomfort is a step toward greater mental toughness and self-discipline. This principle draws a line between what is and isn't within our control, urging us to direct our energy solely toward the former. This seemingly simple idea can profoundly reshape how we approach life's challenges, reducing anxiety and building a deeper sense of peace and resilience. So what exactly falls within our control according to Stoicism? It's mainly our own actions, reactions, and judgments, our thoughts, our will, our responses. These are the areas where we actually have agency. Everything external, whether it's the weather, other people's actions, or world events, lies outside our direct control. Marcus Aurelius consistently stressed this point in his writings, noting that becoming upset over things outside our control isn't just pointless, but actively works against our well-being. Practicing this distinction starts with that realization. While we can influence outside events, we can't fully control them. The Stoic learns to accept this not passively, but as a freeing truth. By focusing on our own actions and letting go of our attachment to outcomes, we can maintain our calm and effectiveness, no matter the circumstances. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or detached from the world. Instead, we engage with it more constructively, directing our efforts where they can actually make a difference in daily life. This means asking ourselves, is this within my control? Before reacting to any situation. If it isn't, the Stoic practice is to let it go and move forward. This is, of course, easier said than done. It takes practice, mindfulness, and occasional reminders to ourselves of what actually lies within our sphere of influence. Beyond that, this practice has real implications for how we set goals and expect outcomes while we work toward our goals, tying our happiness or self-worth to outcomes shaped by countless external factors sets us up for frustration instead. Stoicism teaches us to find satisfaction in the pursuit itself, in staying true to our values, and in the effort we put in. Marcus Aurelius and other Stoic thinkers never promised a life free of challenges. Instead, they offered a way to maintain inner peace and dignity, regardless of life's highs and lows. By practicing this principle, we not only improve our own lives, but can influence those around us through our example of calm and resilience in the face of life's inevitable uncertainty. This idea involves a deep understanding of personal responsibility and the Stoic commitment to self-mastery rather than falling into a victim mindset where we see ourselves as passive recipients of life's hardships. Stoicism encourages us to take control of our perceptions and reactions. This empowerment sits at the center of the Stoic belief that our happiness and peace of mind depend more on our internal state than on outside events. The idea here isn't to deny the difficulties or unfairness we might face. Rather, it's about shifting focus from what happens to us to how we respond to what happens. Aurelius believed every outside event comes with a choice. How will we let this define us? By refusing to play the victim. We reject the idea that our emotional well-being is at the mercy of outside circumstances. This is a freeing realization that opens the door to greater personal growth and resilience. To practice this, we start by observing our habitual responses to difficult situations. Do we immediately look for someone or something else to blame? Do we spend our energy complaining instead of addressing the problem? Changing these patterns isn't about suppressing our feelings, but about understanding them more deeply and redirecting our energy more constructively. It means acknowledging our pain and disappointment while also recognizing our ability to move forward, despite it. Beyond that, this Stoic teaching encourages us to see every obstacle as a chance to practice virtue and strengthen our character. This outlook is fundamentally proactive and empowering. It turns potential feelings of helplessness into moments of choice where we can assert our own agency. Each challenge becomes a test of our commitment to our values and a chance to show fortitude, perseverance, and resilience, qualities that define the Stoic ideal. By never playing the victim, we embody the Stoic ideal of emotional independence, building an inner fortress of calm and steadiness. We can engage with the world from more fully and freely. This doesn't mean becoming emotionless or indifferent, but reaching a state where our happiness isn't easily thrown off by life's ups and downs. In this way, we live not at the mercy of our circumstances, but in alignment with our deepest principles, no matter what life brings. Marcus Aurelius championed this principle not just as personal discipline, but as a path to greater freedom and satisfaction. In the Stoic view, mastering our impulses by delaying gratification isn't about denying pleasure, but about reaching a higher form of fulfillment aligned with our values and long-term goals. Delayed gratification in the Stoic sense means strategically postponing immediate desires to gain more meaningful, lasting rewards. It's about making choices that might not bring instant satisfaction, but lead to lasting well-being and personal growth. This principle is especially relevant in our modern culture of instant everything, where the ability to wait, to hold off for something better, is a rare and valuable skill. For Stoics like Aurelius, the practice of delayed gratification was also about maintaining mastery over one's desires. He believed that becoming enslaved to fleeting pleasures could lead to a loss of freedom, becoming captive to one's own whims and impulses. Instead, by exercising restraint and choosing our actions based on reason and foresight, we build a life not just of temporary pleasure, but of lasting calm and contentment. Putting delayed gratification into everyday practice can start with simple habits. It might mean saving money instead of spending it on impulse, or choosing a healthy meal over fast food, or even setting aside time to study or practice a skill instead of immediate leisure. Each of these choices reinforces the Stoic practice of putting long-term benefit over short-term ease or pleasure. The benefits of this practice run deep too. Research in psychology supports the Stoic view, linking delayed gratification to better outcomes in career, education, health, and personal relationships. People who can postpone immediate gratification tend to handle stress better, reach their goals more consistently, and live healthier, more fulfilling lives. This idea goes beyond simply tuning out negative feedback. It's about building a mental resilience that lets you stay steady in your convictions and focused on your goals, even in the face of doubt and criticism from others. For Stoics, the approval or disapproval of others lies outside our control and therefore isn't something to depend on for personal validation or direction. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about focusing only on actions and opinions within our own control, stressing that true peace comes from within and can't be shaken by outside judgment. This Stoic indifference isn't about dismissing others, it's about maintaining an internal sense of control. It encourages us to filter out noise that doesn't serve our higher purposes or align with our values. In practical terms, tuning out unwarranted criticism is essential in today's world, where opinions are everywhere and criticism is often just a click away. It means recognizing that while constructive feedback can be valuable for growth, baseless criticism shouldn't pull us off our path. This distinction matters. Stoicism teaches us to evaluate the source and intent behind the criticism we receive. Is it informed? Is it well-meaning? Does it align with our core values? Beyond that, practicing this principle means building a personal philosophy strong enough to withstand outside pressure. It's about being confident in your decisions and actions, not out of arrogance, but out of a deep understanding of your own values and goals. This is what Marcus Aurelius practiced daily, not just as a ruler but as a human being striving for virtue in a complicated world. The ability to tune out unwarranted criticism also strengthens our emotional resilience, making us less reactive to negative opinions and more focused on our long-term vision. In a culture that often thrives on social validation, being able to step outside that cycle and stay true to yourself is both rare and powerful. In embracing this Stoic practice, we're not only protecting our mental space, but actively choosing where to invest our emotional energy. It's about not letting outside noise drown out our inner dialogue, the one that truly shapes our lives. This idea is rooted in the belief that much of our learning and personal growth comes from observing and reflecting on the lives of those who've mastered the virtues we want to develop. Learning from wise people isn't about copying them, but about drawing from their example to sharpen our own character and judgment. Marcus Aurelius, despite being an emperor, often wrote about his admiration for the qualities of others, both past and present. He saw learning from these figures as a way to internalize their strengths and virtues. For him and other Stoics, wisdom wasn't just theoretical knowledge, but a practical guide to living well, best understood through the actions of those who applied these principles effectively. Within Stoicism, choosing who to learn from means recognizing those who embody the Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. These could be historical figures, contemporaries, or even characters from stories who show qualities like resilience, ethical integrity, and rational thinking. The key is looking for people whose lives offer a roadmap for facing challenges with grace and determination. Applying this today means thoughtfully choosing role models whose values match our own aspirations. It's more than just admiration. It's about closely observing how these people navigate their lives, make decisions, and handle hardship. This practice encourages us to ask, what about this person's approach or mindset can I bring into my own life to improve how I act, and choose beyond that. Learning from wise people helps bridge the gap between abstract philosophical ideas and everyday action. It gives us a concrete example of how Stoic principles can actually be lived out. This doesn't just make these ideals more accessible, it makes them more compelling as we see the real impact of Stoic virtues in the lives of people we respect. In seeking out and learning from wise people, we engage in an active form of learning and self-improvement. It's a proactive approach to personal growth that reinforces our commitment to excellence by surrounding ourselves with the influence of virtuous people. We set a high bar for our own behavior and decisions, pushing ourselves toward becoming the wise people we hope to become. This practice isn't just about recounting the day's events. It involves a deep, reflective look at your thoughts, actions, and reactions throughout the day. It's about noticing whether these behaviors lined up with your values and Stoic virtues like wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. This introspective process matters because it acts as a feedback loop, helping you become more conscious of your actions and decisions. For Stoics, the point of this daily review isn't to dwell on mistakes or indulge in self-criticism, but to observe and adjust. It's about learning from each day's experience and using that knowledge to keep refining yourself. Marcus Aurelius used this technique to make sure he wasn't just fulfilling his duties as emperor, but was also growing. As a philosopher and human being, bringing this practice into modern life can be incredibly valuable. It encourages us to close each day with a quiet moment of reflection during this time. You can ask yourself several key questions. How did I respond to challenges today? Did I act in line with my principles? What could I have done better? Were there moments I lost control? And why reflecting on these questions helps build greater self-awareness and guides you toward living a more deliberate, intentional life. This practice can also bring a sense of peace and closure at the end of each day. It lets you address lingering thoughts or stress by facing them directly rather than carrying them into tomorrow. This can be especially powerful in our fast-paced world, where it's easy to lose sight of our deeper goals amid daily distractions and pressure. By honestly reviewing your day, you engage in a form of self-accountability that's gentle yet thorough. It's about recognizing your strengths and acknowledging areas for growth without judgment. This Stoic habit builds resilience and wisdom, teaching you to be both student and teacher in your own life's journey, constantly learning from your experiences and striving to embody the virtues that define Stoicism over time. This practice can reshape not just how you see your days, but how you live your life, aligning a little more closely each day with the ideals you value. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the heart of Stoicism and the timeless wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. Remember, every day is a new step toward mastering yourself, embracing the virtues that define a life well lived. If you're keen to explore further, check out one of the suggested videos on your screen. Next, your presence enriches our Stoic journal community, and we're grateful for it. Until next time, keep living intentionally and wisely.